Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gordon Ryan saga. So we're following Gordon as he's going through ADCC 2017. He has just finished his first round matchup against Dylan Dennis. It wasn't the most exciting match in the whole world, and I guess quite a bit it was because Dylan was very defensive. He was more wanted to do more stand-up wrestling, and Gordon pulled guard immediately. So we saw a lot of defense, a lot of good defense from Dylan, but his own offense was minimal, and Gordon showed a beautiful variety of attacks to try to get something going. And he did have many good opportunities, but nothing to really, he wasn't really able to capitalize on fully, and Dylan defended well. So it went to the referee's decision and Gordon got the nod. So now he's on to the quarterfinals and against none other than Romulo Barral. And before we really get into that match, I think it's time to, it's a good moment to kind of reflect everything what Gordon has done before this, because that'll really put things into perspective as you're going to witness what's about to unfold in this match. So if we look at the matches Gordon's been in his EBI matches and his super fights that he's had with Felipe Peña, Leandro Lo before this, he pulls guard. He's the guy who pulls guard, tries to attack from the seated guard, tries to get mostly some form of leg entanglement, ashigaramis, try to attack heel hooks, inverted heel hooks, and then either he gets him or don't. That's really what I've seen him do before that, and that's what the image that I have in my head that he's about. And it kind of the Dylan Dennis match kind of showed the same, although I think the variety of attacks he used from the seated guard were much more. It was better. They were enhanced. They were updated. He had definitely developed. But still, all in all, quite a similar game plan. And now he's gonna fight Romulo Barral. Okay. Keep that in mind, what he's done before. And he's going to fight Romulo Barral. Romulo, a former ADCC champion, 2013, same weight category. He's a former IBJJF world champion. So a legend, one of the legends of this sport, definitely. And he's also the coach of Felipe Peña, at least I think he is. They train together. Romulo is in his corners a lot of time. And Gordon lost to Felipe just a little while ago before this ADCC in a super match. So a definitely interesting match, and I'm thinking Gordon's gonna pull guard. He's gonna try to get the leg locks going, and let's see how and if Romulo is able to get out of them and defend them. So that's what I'm expecting to see. And now we're gonna go into the match. So I've prepared some clips for you, and the first few clips are going to be about stand-up wrestling. And yeah, that's right, stand-up wrestling, because usually Gordon pulls guard, but as the match starts, we actually see him stand-up wrestle. He will do some wrist fighting, the grip fighting, he will do some fakes, looking for a shot, and this is already one of the first things in this match that kind of makes you think, that's something is different than before. And the thing about stand-up wrestling, and I enjoy the stand-up wrestling as well. I used to freestyle wrestle at the national level, and I did quite well. And I appreciate when I see some good wrestling, and we'll see a couple of things here that people can learn a thing or two from. In wrestling, if you have a couple of wrestlers who are both decent wrestlers, then if you give one of them a very good, say a double leg or even a single leg position, of course double leg is going to be even better, but if you give them a very nice, they take all the grips they want in those positions in single leg or double leg, they have a very high chance, very high probability, I would say in the 80-90% something, to finish that particular attack. So the question is not about how do you really, in higher level, it's not really about how do you finish certain situations, because you can finish them quite easily if you know what you're doing. But the real question is going to be about how do you get into those positions. So we both start in a neutral position. How do I get into that deep single leg or a deep double leg position? And we're gonna see one of those setups happening here, and something that I really much like to do myself. I used to do a lot of single legs, and we'll see Gordon attack a single leg in a moment. And also, I've done a little bit of an update on the videos. You'll see on the left side of the clip that kind of a checklist what I'll go over, and this will also probably, most likely, will help you to keep in mind, to remember what I've gone over throughout the clip as I keep rambling on and rambling on. And if you see something in my videos, you're welcome to contact me on social media, one of those channels, to give me some feedback on the video, what I could do better, what is good and what is not so good. That'll help me polish these videos even better. But okay, so the first clip, and we're in the stand-up wrestling department, and quite often you'll see one of the wrestlers do a necktie. We start grappling, and one of them grabs the necktie. Just puts your hand on the neck, and Romulo did that here. And Gordon, you have a variety of options to counter that, and Gordon chooses to take a necktie of his own. I'll just play a little bit further the clip. We'll see both of them having neckties. So this is a very nice angle. So Gordon has a necktie from the outside, and what he's trying to do here. So he took a countering necktie here. Then, well, we don't see from this angle well, but Gordon's hand is here, and his hand tries to go all the way up to Romulo's necktie grip and tries to get a wrist grip from there. So you'll kind of have the hand, Romulo's necktie hand in control, and you'll have the back of the head grip there. And what will you do next is you will slide off that hand that is behind your neck. So that's what Gordon's going to do. But the way you do it is you're going to rotate. He's going to try to rotate his right side forward there. He's going to rotate this way, in this direction. So he will turn his right side forward here. That's kind of the direction that after you've taken the grips, you slide your body. This kind of removes yourself from the hand. So the hand is on the neck. You turn it that way, then hand starts to slide off easier. And at the same time, you pull the guy forward. So adding to this these grips and this body rotation, he will pull Romulo forward in these directions, in this direction. Okay, we'll see that happen now, and then we continue. So he will pull him forward, and that slides the grip off the neck. So there's no more necktie there. And what happens with Romulo here as he gets pulled forward? So you see, you don't want to go forward. If he wouldn't regain balance, he would go just head first towards the mat, and that's not good. You don't want to go on your knees and then allow yourself to be in a front headlock and this type of situation. So you start to counterbalance. You will use this front leg as a base, as Romulo did. He will push back from this leg and pull his body more backwards here. He will keep pulling it back there. And that's a very nice setup because, all right, you yanked him forward, but that didn't work because the other guy is balancing himself. And as he now rebalances himself, you see the posture. It keeps coming in this direction. He keeps coming back there. So he's able to rebalance himself, but now his weight is on his back foot. Sorry, the foot on the back foot is not the greatest highlighted area, but this foot is now heavier. The weight is on this leg, and Gordon keeps still yanking on the head. He keeps pulling here. He keeps pulling the head forward, and this even puts Romulo even more in the direction of trying to get back there, just rebalancing, counterbalancing that forward yanking motion. And this is a nice setup as it allows Gordon to shoot a single. Now, as Romulo was going up, this opens up the front leg. You see, Gordon is already, as Romulo is still recovering his balance from being pulled forward, Gordon uses the moment to counter-attack and get a single leg, and it's going in a really slow motion. You can see that Romulo will try to make the sprawling motion that his upper body would want to lean on Gordon and his right leg to pull it out and create this sprawling motion. But because of the setup, he's a bit late, and see, he tries to pull it out, but Gordon gets a grip and initiates a single leg. So that's a really nice setup. That's some good wrestling there. And as I told you before, we really never seen Gordon wrestle before, and this is the first time he does, and it shows some excellent technique in my opinion. So we'll look at the clip from the start again. So that countering necktie, he pulls him forward. Romulo balances himself, tries to go back there to rebalance, and he's too late to counter the single leg. Perfect. Very nice attack from Gordon. And this is the same sequence, just a little bit further. And he's going to do what I believe in English is called running the pipe, or I like to call it, if I translate it directly, the sit-down takedown from the single leg. You're basically, what you want to do is sit the guy down here, put his hips on the mat, put his buttocks on the mat, and get a takedown in that way. A fairly common thing, you see that in wrestling, but even more I think you see it in MMA. George St. Pierre loved to do this kind of a takedown. But the thing that I want to point out to you the most about about this takedown, as Gordon does it, is you really want to off-balance the other guy. So if you're defending on top, Romulo tries to create distance here, pushes off the neck. If you are not off-balanced, if you're fairly stable, you'll have better time to react to movements that he does as he tries to take you down. So creating an off-balancing motion before you do the final takedown is a very crucial component of having a successful takedown. And in this case, what we'll see Gordon do is kind of step forward with his right leg. It's already in the air. This leg is already coming forward. He takes a bit step forward there. What does this do? It creates a situation when Romulo gets pushed a bit more backwards there. So he in that direction, going more backward. As he rams into him, he kind of just steps forward and pushes him with his body weight. So when he does this, he immediately, we'll see that momentarily, but I'll talk to you through the sequence first. Gordon's other leg will move after the first one. So first there was a step, there's going to be step with the right leg, takes a step forward, off balances Romulo backwards, but then immediately places this left foot a little bit back there, takes a small step backward in that direction. And this creates this kind of a trajectory here. I'll play it a bit forward now so you can see it clearer. Takes forward step and then another step backward there. So this creates this space here, this area here, where Gordon has a lot of trajectory to pull him towards. And now, since Romulo was off balanced, and Gordon is now going to do this sit-down motion where he's going to rotate his upper body and pull Romulo with him. It's much harder for Romulo to balance himself, and we'll see a really nice sit-down as Gordon just goes rotationally backwards and downwards at the same time. So now you can see a very nice finish. Much harder for Romulo to keep balancing himself, and it just falls down on his buttocks. A very nice setup for the single leg and a very nice finish. Quite a few very good wrestling, a very good wrestling skill displayed by Gordon. Okay, so onwards. And that's already like 20-30 seconds into the match, and Gordon showing a very nice expertise, not expertise maybe, but a very nice skill in wrestling, and finishes, takes Romulo down in the first 30 seconds. Quite impressive. Next clip that I'm going to show you, as if that wasn't enough to take him down quickly, he's going to pass his guard. And he's going to do what is quite well known of Gordon right now, the body lock pass from the butterfly guard. But the things to point out the things that I want to point out from this pass is a couple of things. So first, naturally, you gotta have to get the body lock first. So in this case, Gordon has his hands clasped together behind Romulo's lower back, and it's a very powerful position, the body lock. If you ever have a chance to train with a very high-level Greco-Roman wrestler, just let him do a body lock on you. Let him just clasp his hands around your lower body and put a little bit of squeeze in it, and you'll feel extremely vulnerable and a very, very tight grip there. And I think it's, in my opinion, it's even better when you do it in the grounding position, because you can add your body weight on top of it. If you're in standing position, sure, you have a very nice grip. You can elevate him off the floor and do all sorts of takedowns. But in pure pressure, you can add even more pressure if you would lean against the guy when he's flat on the mat. So a body lock is... so Gordon has a body lock. But to make it, to finish the pass now or start to get into a more effective position, he would need to remove one of the hooks, one of the butterfly hooks. And since Gordon is looking this way, you want to kind of pass in that way. So that's the direction Gordon is going to try. If you place your head on that side, you kind of want to pass him towards that side. And the way he's going to remove the hook is he's going to sprawl his leg, his right leg, more backwards in this direction. It's gonna come like downwards here, and Romulo will start to have a harder time to follow with this hook here. It'll be harder to follow this hook on the in the inside of the Gordon's thigh here, and on top of that, what Gordon will also do is rotate his knee inwards as he's sprawling backwards. So you'll have this leg sprawl with an inwards turn on the knee, and that really clears the hook. Okay, so I'm going to show it a little bit further. Small movement, he sprawls, turns knee inward, and that removes the hook, so the hook goes away. So the hook is removed, and now that's a much better position for a body lock. I'm not a huge fan of going from the butterfly guard into body lock sequence, but if you should have a body lock when he doesn't have a full butterfly anymore, just one hook, I think that's quite overpowering position. So he not really able to use that leg anymore. Romulo it's just the leg is kind of out there, not doing much. So the next step here is what I talked about before. You can add a lot of pressure to the body lock by walking your legs close, lifting the heel and butt off the floor, and you create this downward pressure. And that's the next step that he's gonna do, Gordon here. To create a better position, he's gonna start walking on his feet. He's gonna put one foot to the mat, create base on it. So he's taking base on it from his left leg as he lifts off the other leg as well. And it looks a bit off balancing. I'm sure Gordon has drilled it quite a bit, so he knows what he's doing. Romulo tries to lift Gordon upwards and forward there. So he kind of somersault or just do a forward roll over. Gordon is able to keep his pace, I would say, because he shifted his head as a base. He shifted his head to the right. We can't see it from this angle. We can't see it from this angle, but he maintains his base on his head. That's my guess, and because of that, Romulo is unable to finish that. And now to make it an even further, take the next step further from just walking your legs close, you want to wedge your knee in between the bottom guy's legs. So you see Gordon's right knee, right shin comes to the where the hip and the leg. There's probably a word for that in English, but where the hip and the leg connect, he puts his shin there in that area, and now you have a very, very overpowering position. Romulo does manage to get momentarily out of this, so we'll go to a next clip, which is just a tiny bit further in the same sequence. So you see again, Gordon is in that very good passing position, and he uses the left foot as a base here. So this is important. It gives you the base. It has to be outside here a little bit, so you're stabilized when you go for this pass. And then he goes for a knee slide, but this time he won't just put the shin in there and try to establish that way, but he immediately rotates the knee inward to turn it into a knee slide position. We'll go a bit further here in the clip so you can see it. So he immediately turns the knee. I'd like to point out there, that's the crucial details in knee slide in general, and about this particular pass as well. I'll play just a tad bit further. There you see that your outside leg is the one that helps you stabilize and balance the situation. So Gordon shifted the left foot more towards the outside, so you have better base there. So you have a wider base. His legs were just too much together a second ago. But Romulo tries once again to off-balance him, like pull him forward, pull Gordon forward, and try to kind of flip him over. I'll play the clip further. So there's this trying to off-balance him, but again, you can't see it from this angle, but the head is giving him imbalance so he doesn't fall over. And now, because of the position is so overpowering, he just slides through. Fantastic pass. So there's like a little over a minute gone into the match. Gordon did a fantastic single leg setup, then he finished it well, and on top of that he passed Romulo's guard. And that's just about a minute into the match. So in the next clip, that's something from the Romulo's perspective that I'd like to point out. So it's a continuation from the same situation, just a while further, where Gordon has passed the guard. He still maintained the body lock. He tried to maintain the body lock, but at some point, if you just keep the body lock, yeah, you pass the guard, you're controlling the guy, but you'd want to advance further on the upper body. So Gordon would like to eventually get more close to the upper body here. He would like to shift his upper body more towards Romulo's head. He would like to slide more up there, so he can start attacking him on this upper body, arms, all sorts of things. Right now, he's too low. He's near the hips there. So what Romulo would like to do now, and he does it really well, he's keeping an eye on Gordon's left arm here. Because the thing about being able to achieve upper body control as you're in the side control, you'd want this arm, Gordon's left arm, to hook behind the neck here. You'd want to get this kind of a neck grip here. And then you can pull yourself forward, pull yourself chest against the chest, and stabilize a very nice side control. But if you're in Romulo's situation, you want to keep an eye on this arm, and when it's possible, when you have the opportunity, create a frame on the arm and push it away, keep a nice frame on it, so you're able to have space and escape. And this is what's about to happen. So as Gordon unlocked the body lock, so the hands are no longer clasped, he would like to get the head grip, but Romulo will create a frame with his arms and push Gordon's left arm. Let's look at that. So the body lock has been released. You see that the right arm in particular follows the Gordon's left arm. So Gordon unable to get the neck grip, and Romulo has the space to recover guard. So that's a nice detail about using the frames and creating some space and not allowing yourself to be completely locked in side control. So I have one more clip to show you from this match, and that's probably even the most impressive sequences we see from Gordon in this match. I'll let the list appear. So he's gonna do a hip switch pass and just follow the sequence right up until he has back control. But about the hip switch sequence, so it requires first the guy on the bottom to have this sort of an alignment where he's a bit tilted to the side that Romulo is. So there's one leg as a butterfly, sort of a butterfly hook. There's a hook between Gordon's leg, and the other leg is just hanging there for Romulo. Romulo's left leg here, not doing much, just hanging there. And it would be kind of like a De La Riva guard, but in De La Riva you have this arm of Romulo would hold Gordon's right leg, and that would actually kind of stop the hip switch. If you'd have that grip there, he wouldn't be able to just do it like he is about to do now. But since there's no grip there, Gordon's legs are free to move as he wants them, and Romulo's body is tilted to the left, creating this kind of an area here where it would be very nice to fall down. Sorry, I'll make a bit of a better arrows here. So what Gordon would like to do is capitalize on this exposed area and kind of slide down there and take the side control. And he will do that with the hip switch motion. So he will rotate his left side more forward as his right side starts to come on the other way. So left side starts to rotate this way. Movement starts from the legs and hips. You start to rotate your feet, toes that way. Your knee starts to turn that way. Your hip starts to turn that way. Your upper body, everything starts to turn that way. At the same time, your other side of your body starts to rotate the other way, in the other direction. So the leg starts to move in that direction. Your upper body starts to move. You create this nice rotation. And to immediately utilize this space here, Gordon will also sprawl this leg a bit backwards. So he would come down faster here and take more space away from Romulo to finalize the side control. So let's look at that in action. So the opponent is aligned very well. Your legs are free to move, and you create that rotation with a sprawling motion. So he creates that rotation, sprawling motion, falls into that area which is kind of weak, exposed. And because of that rotation, the hook slides off again. You can't see really the hook here, it's only a blurry motion here. But the hook slides off, and Gordon basically crashes into the side control. Again, I'd like to point out a couple of things from Romulo's perspective. Look at this area here. Gordon's left arm, from the previous clip, as we learned that to stabilize a nice side control here, Gordon would like his left arm to get a neck grip here. Get a nice neck grip here and just pull his chest, pull towards chest to chest as it pulls from the head and stabilize. Romulo starts to follow that arm again. Control the arm. Don't let that head get... allow that head control to happen. So you see he blocks the head, which is nice. Gordon tried to get the head control, but these nice frames here, in this case it's the left arm creates that nice frame here. He tries to not allow Gordon to get a head control and stabilize into the side control. But he, and not to allow him to get, just not allowing, trying to get out of the position immediately, he goes towards the turtle. Sorry about that. It's okay to do the turtling defense. However, Romulo does a very big mistake here. And the mistake is that as he turtles, he doesn't close the space between his upper body, like the shoulder area, this area, and his knee, at least the knees, or at least the knee that's going to be closer to Gordon, which is Romulo's left knee. You already see the space here. The knee is there, the shoulders are here, and Gordon has wedged himself in between them. And now, if you're gonna turtle here, you'd want to close that space. There was a couple of times in the Dylan-Dennis matchup where Dylan had to turtle as well, but Dylan really kept his knees close to his upper body, and Gordon really didn't get a good back take on it. But as Romulo starts to now go towards the knees as he tries to get out of it immediately, again, I'll point out to you, this is the shoulders, the shoulder area is here. And Romulo's left leg is just way out there, way out there. And there's about a huge space here in between where Gordon has wedged himself into. At least a cubic meter. Okay, so a lot of space there. And when you're taking the back, this is a very common sequence in Jiu-Jitsu. When one guy turtles, you want to take the back immediately. You want to at least threaten and go to try to take the back. You'd want this space to be open, which it is. And if it is open, you will try to wedge your closest knee in between that space, which Gordon will do momentarily. And then you're able to get it in there as a near hook. So when you wedge your knee in there, the ankle will be the near hook, hooking behind this leg here. It will be going between Romulo's legs, and you have a near back control hook in there. Play it a little further so you see, because it gave so much space there, the knee is wedged in there immediately. Look at the space, there's so much space between the knee and the shoulder area. And what more do you want? So he's able to, Gordon is now gonna bring this ankle behind Romulo's leg, and you'll have a near hook. What more do you want to take a perfect, to get a back control? You'd want the seatbelt control, and he already had the underhook part of the seatbelt control with his right arm. It was around the Romulo's body, and now the left arm which is not controlled anymore. Just clasps the hands together. You have a seatbelt control. You have a knee wedged in there. You're ready to take the near hook with the ankle. Everything is perfect. Well done from Gordon, and it all culminates in this back take. Near hook is in, seatbelt control is in, and you have a perfect body lock. So I'm going to show you the sequence, the entire sequence once again. Opponent aligned perfectly, body rotates, he slides over the hook and tries to get into side control. Romulo defends the initial stabilization, turtles up, but leaves so much space between his knee and his upper body. Gordon wedges his leg in there, grabs seatbelt. Because of the wedging, he has a near hook and a seatbelt and a perfect back take. Just fantastic. I didn't include the final sequence here because, well, on top of everything, Gordon chokes out Romulo just very soon after the back take. I didn't include this as we'll see Gordon do this kind of a back attack sequences from better angles and in other matches. So we'll be able to analyze that later on. But it took like 3 minutes for him to choke out Romulo, one of the legends of our sport. And the most impressive thing about this, for me, as I talked to you before we started to analyze these clips, was that Gordon was a guard puller who does only these ashiguramis. That's what it looked like to my eyes. And now I appreciate positional fighting style much more. And Gordon played it positionally, very positionally, and that was so impressive to me because he took him down. He took him down, but even more impressive was the guard passes that he played positionally. He just passed guard, didn't try to go leg entanglements. He passed his guard, not just tried to pass guard, but basically off the bat, as he went down, the first passes immediately passed the guard twice, and then culminated in that perfect back take sequence and a choke, of course. So the party starts. This was after this match there was the competition went on an intermission. There was evening off, and the next day they continued in the semifinals. And I remember people were saying like, "Oh, did you see Gordon Ryan? He did, just how he dominated Romulo." And I'm like, yeah, it was good. I think the term in psychology is called cognitive dissonance. Like when you have a certain idea about a phenomenon or object or whatever, you have a reality in your head what that object is or that phenomena is. In this case, I have an idea that Gordon Ryan is the guard puller and he looks for leg locks only. And then you see that the reality is kind of different than you imagine it to be. So in this case, Gordon is actually, he shows wrestling, good wrestling skills. He then dominates positionally, chokes out from the back, Romulo Barral. And then you have this the former thing that you have in your head and this new reality. They're trying to just come together and blend into in harmony again. And that's what I was going through. I was like, yeah, good. He did good, but I'm just not really just trying to make sense of what just happened. And after this match, I was very interested to see how Gordon is gonna do in the further matches, and that was really the match that kind of made me see Gordon in a whole new perspective. So he wasn't no longer that guy who could just only do leg locks and that, but he was a much more complete fighter. He could also fight positionally, and that's truly impressive. So. In the next round, Gordon will face none other than Xander Ribeiro, another legend of this sport, a multiple-time IBJJF world champion, and the legend and a veteran in ADCC, who came down a weight category. Usually, Xander fought in under 99, so now he went to under 88, and he has had an impressive run himself. He armbarred Rustam Chishev with a beautiful closed guard armbar that was just picture perfect. So it'll be a nice clash of titans in the next video. Okay, once again, I thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video and enjoy my content, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.